Hey everyone, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home, and today I've got another 4K review to do for you. We're going to be looking at Universal's newest release, Fast 9 or F9, the Fast Saga or Fast and Furious 9. I don't know what the hell they're calling them these days, but anyway, this is the movie that I'm going to be reviewing on 4K. So we'll dive into video, audio, special features, and packaging, and I'll let you guys know whether you need to have this 4K in your collection or whether you might be okay with just buying the Blu-ray, or honestly, maybe even just renting this one. So F9, that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it F9. The visuals on this are great. Like, it's a very visually appealing blockbuster popcorn movie, right? I was really impressed with the way it looked. But when you compare it to a Blu-ray disc, the 4K is almost identical. The HDR color grading does not change much between Blu-ray to 4K. The color grading is pretty standard throughout. HDR did not add enough for me to say that it was really worth upgrading. And because it is just a 2K digital intermediate, most likely due to the amount of CGI and special effects that are in this movie, you don't really see much of an upgrade in resolution. Honestly, you wouldn't see much more in resolution watching the 4K disc on a 4K TV or watching the Blu-ray upscaled on a 4K TV. They're pretty similar experiences, and I watched it, and I can tell you, if you put them side by side, even someone like myself who's been reviewing discs and watching a ton of movies on these two formats, I don't know that 100% of the time I could pick out the difference. And if I can't pick it out, then the average person can't pick it out. And this is the type of movie for me, when you look visually anyway, that I understand why some people say, well, 4K and Blu-ray look identical, and why should I ever upgrade to 4K? And it's because they're looking at mainstream movies like this. This is obviously a popular title. Big box office, big franchise, going to sell a lot of discs. And a lot of people may be disappointed when they buy it on 4K and then take a look at maybe the Blu-ray, or, are expecting some crazy next level experience and don't get that, versus some of these other movies out there, even newer stuff that's 4K digital intermediates with great color grading. You just aren't going to see the biggest leap, the biggest difference here. And that's my major problem with movies like this, like Marvel movies. You just could buy a Blu-ray and be perfectly fine and get 99.999% the same experience. So visually, even though the packaging and the marketing is going to tell you it's 4 times sharper than full HD with HDR for brighter, deeper, more lifelike color, that's not really true in all cases. I cannot say that this is definitively 4 times sharper. I can't say that the colors are deeper, brighter, more lifelike. I mean, obviously they probably did some upscaling, but if you had told me they didn't, I wouldn't have been surprised. It looks exactly the same, and I can't really recommend you spending the extra money on this 4K disc if you're on a budget. Now, audio has the same issue, because this is a good thing, and I appreciate Universal doing this, but they deliver Dolby Atmos audio on both 4K and Blu-ray. So that's sometimes the one differentiator with like the Marvel movies, because Disney won't put Atmos on the Blu-ray disc. So if you want Atmos, you buy the 4K, and there at least is some benefit to buying some of these more modern 2K upscale movies in 4K because of the audio, or maybe some of the packaging. But in this case, you're getting Atmos in both cases, and it's honestly a little bit underwhelming. The Atmos track, this is the type of movie that I would expect to compete with a Godzilla versus Kong or Godzilla King of the Monsters, which are like my top level Atmos tracks. Those are like the reference tracks for me. And I expect something like this with all the action and all the effects to compete with that. And it really didn't. I mean, it's fine. It's a good Atmos track, but again, like, I'm not sure that a 5.1 versus the Atmos would be a huge difference versus some of the incredible action that you get on a disc like Godzilla when you upgrade to Atmos. So again, like, super disappointed, kind of bummed about this release. Really expected a lot, maybe even from the audio side, but didn't get it. So AV quality on this, I mean, is obviously great. It's modern. It looks very clean. Like, everything looks awesome. So if that's all you're caring about, you'll enjoy the disc. But what I'm talking about and what my channel focuses on is Blu-ray versus 4K. Where should you spend your money, and is this really worth a 4K purchase? And in this case, I really can't say that it is. I personally would save the money, buy your Blu-ray disc, you get Atmos audio, you're not really missing out on anything with HDR or that upgraded resolution. Let your TV or your player upscale it to 4K, and it's probably going to do just as good a job as Universal did on this 4K disc. So packaging really quickly, this is like the busiest packaging ever. There's about 12 characters on the front, but pretty typical, nothing crazy. It's like poster art. Then on the inside, you do have a digital copy, which I'm going to remove, and then some nice disc art for the 4K disc. Nothing on the Blu-ray, but appreciate that there's a little effort put in there. And then special features, you do get the director's cut and the theatrical version. So that's kind of cool. They put both versions on here. And then there's also a gag reel. There's a quick featurette called F9 All In. There's Practically Fast, talks a little bit about some of the special effects. There's Shifting Priorities, Justice for Han, A Day on the Set with Justin Lin, John Cena featurette, and then a feature commentary with the producer, co-writer, and director Justin Lin. So overall, not bad. Like, there's at least some features and there's some decent stuff, plus that director's and theatrical cut gives you two different experiences, but you'd be able to grab that on the Blu-ray disc as well. So overall, I mean, the movie itself is your typical Fast and Furious movie. I don't think it's one of the better ones in the franchise. I think they've been declining over the last 2 or 3. I think they kind of peaked, honestly, with like Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6. Those were my favorites. And then 7, 8, 9. We've been on a bit of a decline, but they're still fun. They're popcorn movies. They're entertaining. Great movies to watch with like teenage kids, just to have a movie night on Friday night. Family will enjoy it. It's entertaining and engaging. But honestly, I'd just grab the Blu-ray if it was me for my collection. There's really no need, audio, visual, special features, packaging, any of that. There's no reason to buy the 4K, and it's one of the what I would call sort of a gimmicky 4K disc that's really just out to try to grab some more high-end collectors' sales, and it's really not something we need. Now, if you want the best and you always want to opt for 4K, then sure. I mean, you'll be fine buying this disc, but again, like if you're on a budget and this is $28 and the Blu-ray is $20, save your $8, buy the Blu-ray, and get the same experience, in my opinion. That's it for the review. F9 from Universal. Thanks to them for sending this out to me so I got a chance to review it and check it out on 4K. I'll leave a link to both the 4K and the Blu-ray down in the description so you can make your choice. It all comes down to budget, but really the difference in price is not going to be justified. And if you're looking for a mind-blowing 4K experience, this isn't the disc for you, unfortunately. So it is what it is. Some of these modern movies hit, some miss. This one was a miss for me, but you know, it's still fun to watch, and it's certainly one to pick up if you've been following the franchise and enjoy that type of movie, but maybe just save a few bucks and go with HD 1080p, which there's nothing wrong with. Still a very good format in 2021. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and have your notifications on. I'd really appreciate your support there. And also make sure to check me out on social media. All the links are down in the description, as well as other links and ways you can support my channel. All that stuff down in the description, so scroll through and read it. It's a ton, but it's actually some helpful content in there as well. Other than that, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy out there, and I will talk to you soon.